Hey everyone, Carl from Gardening Solutions here. And what you're looking at is the remains of my old home automation system. So I was using it's called a Wink based system. And with that system you need a controller. So I had to have two controllers. I have the one in the house and then one in the workshop since the signal doesn't reach between them. I had some wall controllers. This gives you kind of a phone type interface, a little graphical, but you can also control it through a phone app. And then these are the switches that would go in the wall. Now this was what's called a Z-Wave based system. That's why you need the separate controller. Now this controller talks to each other and through your phone app and everything through a Wi-Fi. So you do need a Wi-Fi setup for that. Now these switches are about $40 each. When I was buying them, I think they're starting to get a little cheaper, but they've been pretty unreliable. Actually, the whole system has. But as far as these switches, I've had quite a few failures. You know, when you lose a $40 switch, a couple of them at a time, that gets pretty expensive. So that's the old system. You can see from the amount of switches, I've had quite a few in the house. There's probably about 3 or 4 more, plus a couple outlets. So let me go show you what the new system looks like. Okay, here's a couple switches that are mounted. These two happen to be controlling some outside outlets. One is for an outlet up on the soffit, and then one is at ground level. And then we got some other switches here. This one controls my floodlights, and my floodlights haven't been the most reliable either. Sometimes they get stuck on, so I have a schedule that turns the power to the floodlights on from sundown to sunup. So that way, even if they're not working right, at least it's only on at nighttime. So that's what the new ones look like mounted. The nice thing is these, I don't remember the exact price, but they're $10 to $15 each, depending on the type, because you can get a dimmer, you can get a switch, which is just on-off. So this is just an on-off. Actually, all of these are. But I do have some outside lights on dimmers. You can get wall outlets. You can get 3-ways, so different types. So I'm going to show you something else here, how this applies to gardening. Okay, we are now out in my garage, and what you're looking at here is my plant starter rack, or propagation rack if you want to call it that. So I take a quick peek. I've got some seeds started up there, and then these are some cuttings. Got those working on. But as you would probably guess, I don't run the lights 24/7. I have them on a timer. So I don't remember what I paid for this timer, but they're not terribly expensive, harder to open. Anyways, it's just a simple, there we go, old dial type timer, and they work fine. Now, you don't get remote control of this. It's a little tricky to set up sometimes. If the power goes out, you have to remember to fix the time and such. So they're not horrible, but this is part of my new system. So the new system, including those switches I just showed you, is all Wi-Fi based. So if you have Wi-Fi in your house, then you have everything you need to get started. Here's the other neat thing. These, like this outlet here, this switch, this plug-in. So if you buy them in like a 3 or 4 pack, they're like $6 each. So they're cheaper than these and much more programmable. So I use pretty much all my home automation just as simple on-off timers. You know, we just turn the lights on at, like for example, for these lights, they're going to turn on in the morning, then turn off at night. But you can get creative. You can tie this into your security system. You can have, say, the garage door opens. Matter of fact, look at my garage door. Try not to get the sun there. It's very bright right now. So this is a switch on my garage door. It's a magnet. So when the door closes, the security system knows, and it's got an armored cable. And so you can have, when the garage door opens, have the garage lights turn on, maybe utility room light, whatever the case might be. But this is a really good way to get started with home automation. Just get yourself a 3-pack of these. Now, so you basically just plug it in the wall, plug the device into here. I wrote on it just so I know what I've named it, you know, when you're in the app. And then if you want to manually turn it on and off, it's got a button there. So let me get this plugged in. and then I will show you how to set it up. Okay, I've replaced the timer with the, I don't know what I'll call it, IP switch, Wi-Fi switch. And then I plugged in the rack here. You can see the light's not on. I'm going to push this button right now. So I haven't configured this at all. It's not set up in the system yet. I push the button, turn the lights on. Simple as that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to the view of my phone screen, and I'm going to go through how easy it is to set this up. Okay, we'll begin by opening the Kasa app. Hit the plus in the upper right corner to add a new device. We're going to go ahead and select Smart Plug and Smart Plug again. And this is just walking you through, telling you basically to go ahead and plug it in. And there's an indicator light on the front of the plug that's going to start blinking. This will be different for switches, but the process overall is the same. Okay, make sure the light's blinking. And once that starts blinking, we're going to jump over to our Wi-Fi settings and connect to the plug. So it's going to create its own Wi-Fi network. We need to connect to that, and that will allow us to talk right to the plug. Go under Wi-Fi's, you see the TP-Link, select that, and then we'll jump back over to the Kasa app. Now it's connecting to the plug, should just take a second. And then you're going to choose your home network. Now mine was already there because I've got other devices set up. And in this case, this device is going to need a firmware update. So that's completely automatic. Once the app configures the plug, the update will happen automatically. So just give it a second here. There we go. So give it a name. Again, this is going to just be plug 1, just like I wrote on the outside of it. Select an icon, and boom, ready to go. Firmware update is in progress. I'm going to fast forward this. It takes about a minute. So it's configured. What we're going to do now is just select that device. At the bottom, we're going to select schedule. We're going to go ahead and add a schedule to turn it on. So you can have multiple turn on and turn off per day, but I'm going to go ahead and set up an 8 a.m. turn on time for this, since it's for the lights for the plants. And then let's set a schedule to turn it off. Let's put that at 8 p.m. Now you can also do sunrise and sunset as options, but in this case, just going to be a 12-hour cycle. There we go. Schedule set. We can manually control it by pushing that button, but we are otherwise ready to go. Okay, the plug's all set up. You can see the little blue light there in the corner. So these are really easy to set up. They're inexpensive. You get a lot of flexibility. Like this timer here, you can only set an everyday schedule. This one you could skip days. You could set it to on and off several different times throughout the day. And they're inexpensive. And you get the phone control. So if you're out, let's say you want to just turn all your lights on, turn all your lights off, you can do that remotely. But for now, this is just a great way to control the lights on my seed rack here. So hope this was informative. We'll put links to these switches in the notes. And if you have any other ideas or neat things you've done with home automation, I'd like to hear about it. So go ahead and put a comment. Thanks a lot. That's all I got for today.